Good evening. It's Latasha Thomas, your worth coach and restoration strategist. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about another woman in Black history this week. So, this week we're talking about Allyson Felix. And so, what I've been doing over the course of the month of February is just highlighting a woman in Black history that maybe you've heard of, maybe you know a little bit about, and some of the lessons that we can learn or hold on to from their life. And this has been a really fun opportunity for me this year to be a part of this group and to be able to inspire other women. And so I felt like I could draw a little bit of inspiration from some of the women to just take a look in their history. And if you know me, I am not huge on history. Listen, when I went to Towson University, I definitely skated past that. Remember that word skating, y'all? I skated past the history credit by taking the history of rock and roll. That's how much I like history. But for me, for some reason, this year feels a little bit different. And so I wanted to share some of the things that I've been looking into and some of the things that I've learned. So I've definitely cheered this woman on. She's a track star, American track and field sprinter, and I've definitely cheered her on during the Olympics. I've seen some of her struggles during the time of her, trying to achieve the world championships that she's achieved. And I just wanted to know a little bit more about her, a little bit more about her history, a little bit more about her as a person. So Allyson Felix was born November 18th of 1985. She runs the 100, the 200, and the 400 meter dash. In her childhood, she was raised in Los Angeles, California, and she's USC educated, right? So she started track actually when she was in 9th grade. Now, I know my son has been in track, and there are some babies. Y'all hear me? Babies out there running track. Allyson Felix didn't even start until 9th grade, which kind of reminds me of Misty Copeland, who started dancing when she was, I think, around 13. So the message I got from that was that it doesn't matter when you start. If you're destined to do something, you can do it no matter what and no matter when. So she graduated from USC. She was picked up by Adidas, and Adidas actually paid for her education at that time. And she graduated with a degree in elementary education. And one of her quotes, which I thought was a really good quote, is that she said, "For me, my faith is the reason that I run. I definitely feel I have this amazing gift that God has blessed me with, and it's all about using it to the best of my ability." And I feel like that's what all of us strive to do, right? When we have a gift that God has given us, we strive to use it to the best of our ability. How many of us have actually been sitting on our gift for years? I can say that I've done that myself. And finally, I am in a place where I am ready to start. I am ready to move forward. I am ready to do all the things that God's called me to do. And I've been blessed to be a part of the 120 Execute Challenge, which has really helped me to have that additional accountability that I need to myself. Myself first and foremost, setting goals that I can achieve and that I can win in. And so I want to use my goals and my gifts to the best of my ability. Why has God given it to us? It's for us to spread and to share with other people. And so I encourage you guys to do the same thing. And she also said, "I never want to be satisfied with losing." And I think that sometimes it's okay to take the L and to learn from it, but you don't necessarily accept it and want to be, satisfied with it, right? And so in 2013, so she goes on to win numerous things, numerous accolades, but there's a couple things that I wanted to point out today. And we're talking about Allyson Felix for those of you who just joined. But in 2013, in the World Championships, and some of you who follow track, you may be familiar with this. In 2013, she had a hamstring injury, and she had to get carried off the track. Now, How many of you have felt like that? Like you are at your place, you are in a space where you're at your appointed time, where the opportunity is right there, and something just doesn't go right. And you have to get carried off the track. So the setbacks, I think are just as much a part of our destiny as the destiny itself. I feel like our setbacks are opportunities. And the cliche saying is that a setback is a setup for a comeback. Yes, yes, yes. But in the practical sense of the word, I feel like setbacks are opportunities for us to really dig deep and learn the lessons that need to be learned. They're opportunity for us to grow and to be challenged and to gain character and depth of character. They're an opportunity for us to gain fortitude and to really regroup and make sure that we are stronger than we were when we started, right? So when a bone heals with extra density to it. It has extra bone around it. It may not feel or appear as strong as before, but it has an extra undergirding of it so that you can continue to move and use that area of your body with effectiveness. And I feel like sometimes our setbacks are in the same manner. It's an opportunity for us to really regroup and to be stronger than when we set out. And so she gets carried off the track. Now, the other piece with that is she didn't walk off the track. And of course, that means she had a serious injury. But what's interesting, and I gleaned from this as I read her story, was she was carried, right? And so what does that mean? That means that she didn't do it on her own. How many times have we been in the trenches of something and we didn't actually allow somebody to help us off the track? And so instead of allowing somebody to help us off the track, we suffer more than necessary. The injury is worse than it needs to be because we're not willing to allow someone to help carry us to the next part, the next season of our life. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to allow someone to step in and help. And so I couldn't have done the things that I'm doing. I wouldn't have the confidence that I had if it weren't for my sisters carrying me off of the track. In the worst season of my life, I am so thankful. I am eternally grateful for the messages people have sent me, for the random flowers my sister Naja sent me one time for Valentine's Day. I mean, just random things. They represent someone helping you and carrying you through the season of trouble and the season of lack and the season when we need to be able to reach out and allow someone else to support us, right? And allow someone else to raise up our hands, just like in the biblical way. So she gets carried off the track. 9 months later, she's competing again. So she didn't allow this injury to debilitate her. She continued to grow. She continued to compete. She started out her first competition right after injury. She was in 5th place. Significant. But then she continues to move forward. She was in 5th. The next competition or the next race, she was in 3rd. And the race after that, she was in 1st. Fast forward to 2016, she has an ankle injury. She was doing pull-ups. Yes, sis. She was doing pull-ups and she fell off the pull-up bar in an awkward manner, and go figure, and has an ankle injury. So she had to pull out, of that race. And later on, she runs anyway, right? So she's still injured, right? Sometimes we're so busy thinking that we have to be completely healed and completely whole in order to go into the next season of our life. Sometimes God challenges you to take a leap of faith, to take that step, just one step towards him so that he can bless you and so he can give you something extra. And so for me, I can say for myself, part of my healing process after my divorce and things that I've been through, challenging parts of my life, was taking a step and focusing on something else, focusing on some of the goals that I wanted to achieve. And that was the thing that pushed me out of that discomfort zone, right? And so she has the ankle injury. She's still injured, and she goes on to do a 400-meter race. And she was able to qualify. And then later she wins that race, that competition later on. So she qualified. So she just had to do enough to qualify. To qualify. And eventually she wins that race. We don't always have to have it perfect. Sometimes you just need to muster up the strength to qualify. Sometimes you just need that little mustard seed of faith to qualify. And you will eventually win that race. But if you never go out there, if you never just take that thing up and go on out there and run your race to the best of your ability, sometimes we're so busy trying to be perfect that we're paralyzed, So if we never just go on, step out there, we can't qualify for the race and win. I don't know who I'm talking to myself if I ain't talking to no. Listen, okay? So sometimes we just need to get to the qualifying round. All right, now catch this. All right. So did you know that Allyson Felix has won 16 world medals? That's not the only significant part. You know that guy, Usain Bolt, that everybody knows about, that household name? She has more medals than that gentleman. Did you know that? I bet you didn't, because I sure didn't. But anyway, so in 2018, she challenged herself to be smarter. Now, here's the catch. She challenged herself to be smarter and run less races so that she could achieve. Now, this 2018, remember that. So that she could achieve her goals for 2020. Y'all, I don't know if you caught that. 2018, she's like, y'all ain't gonna see me as much. Because in 2020, I'm trying to do this thing. This thing in 2020. So 2018, y'all ain't gonna see me as much. So I'm going to bring myself back. I'm going to be strategic. And I'm going to have long range goals that matter. Long range, 2 years from now, I'm being strategic. Sometimes we don't need to be visible all the time. Sometimes we really just need to pace ourselves and make goals that are attainable. So during this Fitness February, I've been setting out to hopefully help the women in the challenge set out some goals that are attainable. So I had different levels of goals, right? Your long range goal might be 10,000 steps in a day, or it may be to run that marathon. That may be your long range goal. But how can we scale it back a little bit so that we can make small wins every day? Today, I had 2 major wins. And listen, everything's not finished. It doesn't matter. I had 2 goals that I wanted to accomplish this week, and I accomplished both of them today. That mattered to me. But I have a long range goal that I'm trying to meet, right? So we always need to scale back and be strategic, just like Naja said. So here's something interesting. Same year, 2018, she ends up delivering her child, her baby, and her endorsement, which was through Nike, was pulled back, right? Thank you, Naja. Her endorsement was pulled back, and they said, hey, we're going to give you a 70% pay cut if you're not back on that track quickly. What? Now, we know that Nike is huge, right? Nike's a huge endorser. But this lady just had a baby, y'all, and she's an Olympic athlete. So they wanted her back in the competition. And so she didn't renew her contract with them. All right. And so sometimes we have to take those L's and be okay with it. Sometimes it's not going to be everything we hope it would be. Sometimes it's not going to be fair. Sometimes it's not going to make sense. But we'll be okay. We will be all right. So in July, now wait a minute, she delivers a baby in November. July of 2019, this girlfriend is out there and finished 6th in her first race. Huh? And another endorsement company picked her up. So sometimes we don't need to be, what's good for us in one season may not carry out into the next season. Sometimes things get exposed when we enter a new season in our life. I remember when I first had my children and I was a PT and I was, all about my career. When I had my children, it forced me to rethink and reprioritize things. And whether it be children or not, sometimes we just need to reprioritize and be okay when somebody tells us no, and be okay with saying no to someone else. Right? No, I'm not going back out there on that track right away. And yes, I do think it's unfair, but let's just go ahead and respectfully part ways because there's something else greater ahead. So I hope that this message has encouraged you guys that you need to ensure you have long range goals and be okay with celebrating those small wins, that we can be carried off the track, allow other people to assist us when we are in seasons of lack, when we are in seasons where we're struggling, when we're in seasons where things are not going quite the way we would hope they would go. Allow your sisters to carry you off the track and to come up under you and to assist you, right? And don't give up. Use those gifts that God has given you, just like Allyson Felix, and use them to the best of your ability every single day. And when you can't do it that day, dust yourself off and keep it moving. If you didn't achieve that goal that week, okay, well, move it to the next week and add another one. Or move it to the next week, pat yourself on the back for continuing to push forward and keep it moving. It's okay. Setbacks sometimes are opportunities for us to grow and to learn and to be greater than we were the day prior. You're welcome, Tiffany. It's my pleasure to bring you these messages. I really, really hope that you guys feel inspired. These are conversations that I have with myself, so please don't feel like you're alone. That's the only way I can bring it to you, is if I'm bringing you the conversations that God and I have. And I just, it's amazing how, for me, I told you guys, I don't really care for history typically, but it's amazing to me how I'm grabbing so much information from these simple stories. Every single person that's successful has a story, has a problem, has an issue. She had a hamstring injury. She had an ankle injury she had to fight through. It may be a mindset issue for you. It may be family things that you're going through. And God is just challenging us to consistently put forth an effort and to be able to push forward and to do what He has called us to do. And guess what? In the end, she surpassed Usain Bolt and was able to accomplish more world records than anyone else. She holds the record for that. And she didn't do it easily. And I don't know why we, myself included, think that we're supposed to just turn up and all our success is supposed to be right in our lap. We don't I dream a genie our success. It doesn't work that way. And so we have to be okay with the trials and tribulations that come and just know that all things are working for our good. We're called and we are called according to His purpose, and God will be faithful to reveal it to us. And I hope that you stay encouraged, and I'm looking forward to all the things that are to come. I love you guys, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Good night.